So if you're coming to Vietnam and you're thinking about renting a motorbike, or maybe you want to drive, but you're hesitant or you're doubtful, right on the side of the road. Dang, look at that thing. Boom. They always hit it right on the money too. Basically this lady coming up right here with the hats, you know, just random, just bam. Like there'll be a cart lady there, you know. The famous landmark 81. Okay, so here we are, Saigon, Vietnam. Kind of rush hour. It's about 4 p.m. right now, and we're driving from Thong Binh, which is right here. I'll show it on the map. It's kind of near the airport. That's the actual name of the district, Thong Binh. And actually though, we started in Thong Binh, we just crossed over. Oh, actually this just crossed over into D10, actually, District 10. And that one says D3. Oh wow, so on the left side of the street it's D3, on the right side it's D10. So pretty far out here though. So basically this is gonna be my first moto vlog here in Ho Chi Minh City. And you know, a lot of other YouTubers do the moto vlogs. I love them personally. I love to watch them. Before I came to Asia, I watched a ridiculous amount of videos on it. I mean, I watch specifically in Vietnam. I watched like Gamer Abroad. He did a lot of cool videos. I really like his moto vlogs. When he talks, he doesn't waste words. He kind of says what needs to be said. I watched Fat and Broke a lot too, and his content too. When he's always just walking on streets, I watched him a lot. So I love this kind of content. It was nice, you know. It felt like you're really in the city, you know. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, I mean, it's pretty crazy here as far as the traffic goes and riding a motorbike. I mean, it's not crazy, it's insane, to be honest. It depends, you know. It seems like when you go more into the city center, it gets a little bit more mild. But when you kind of come out into these more local neighborhoods, it gets a lot crazier, I feel like. You know, there's a lot more stuff, like basically this lady coming up right here with the hats, you know, just random, just bam. Like there'll be a cart lady there, you know, or someone will be cutting across, coming through traffic. So I've been driving here for 5 months now, basically. I guess 4 months technically. And I feel like I got the hang of it now. You know, it's funny because people from here that have been with me, they're on the motorbike, they're like, oh, where did you learn to drive the motorbike? And it's like, well, I just learned by driving. It's kind of like driving a bicycle, honestly. I mean, motorbikes aren't very heavy, so they're pretty easy to maneuver. You know, it's not like it's a big, like 500, 800 cc motorcycle. I know those are more difficult to drive. So yeah, like this, for instance, you know, we got people just jumping across. This happens more when you come out on the local streets, you know, especially during rush hour. I mean, it gets pretty hectic. You really have to pay attention. Like, you can't be on your phone. You really got to have 2 hands on the wheel, which I kind of have a bad habit of. I'll only drive with 1 hand, you know, but you definitely need 2 hands. And, you know, you really got to pay attention to what's going on. So actually, so that was pretty quick. So I had driven a little ways before I actually turned on the camera. So now we're entering, this is kind of a weird spot. If you go straight ahead, it's D1. If you go right, it's D10. If you go left, it's Binh Thanh and D2. So you can kind of go a lot of different ways this way. And honestly, I'm surprised. I thought traffic was gonna be a little bit more crazy right now. It's kind of mild right now, to be honest. Sounds kind of crazy to say, but it is kind of mild. You know, living here has been pretty easy. I will say, you know, it's easy to live here for foreigners. I feel like Vietnamese people really just kind of want to do business, you know. So if you have the money, you know, it's easy to rent a place. It's easy to rent a motorbike. I'm actually renting a motorbike from a foreigner who has a company here, but it's really pretty easy, honestly. It's fast. I mean, I feel like in the Philippines it's a little bit less easy, like in Manila, you know. I guess maybe it's just the transportation's a little more difficult just because it's so jam-packed there. But here it's great because there's so many scooters that even though traffic gets crazy, it gets a bit hectic, there's more room because, you know, there's less cars, more scooters, you can maneuver around, you can jump on the curb if you need to, you know, you can get around where you need to go a lot easier. Yeah, like I said earlier, I used to love to watch the moto vlogs, you know, especially if whoever's channel it was talking about something interesting. I actually went to this gym here on the left, the new gym. I went there for a month when I first got here. We're in D3 now. We're pretty much smack dab in the center of the city of Ho Chi Minh. Yeah, to the right here, it goes down. I was staying at a hotel down there. A lot of the museums are just a couple streets over on the right. As you can see, it kind of cleared up, right? I mean, obviously this is a one-way street right here, but it's not so hectic like those other streets. It gets pretty wild. You got people over here selling some fruit on the right. You know, the vendors. A lot of times there's coconuts over there. You can pull up and just buy a coconut, which is pretty awesome. You know, it'll be anywhere from like 15,000 to 20,000, which is like, I don't know, 60 to 80 cents basically. You know, fresh coconut right there. They chop it up. You know, they usually actually have a truck like this one right here. They just have the back all piled up with coconut. It's fresh, you know, and delicious. And actually, I wanted to go a different way on the river, but I took the wrong way. So, and on the river way, I always buy a coconut. And I think maybe I'll buy a coconut this time too. So if you're coming to Vietnam and you're thinking about renting a motorbike, or maybe you want to drive, but you're hesitant or you're doubtful, I mean, listen, if you're a good driver and by nature and you feel like you kind of understand movement of traffic and you're not too crazy or too aggressive, I think you'll do fine here. You know, you really just gotta be kind of patient. You know, they have their own driving style. Even though it's chaotic, they kind of follow their own rules in a sense. You know, like they have their own patterns of behavior when they're driving. It took me a couple months to pick it up, but I figured it out. You know, there's only like, I would say there's like 10 things that people do here that they don't normally do back in the States. This is actually a really cool motorbike in front. It's like the old school Hondas. But like I was saying, there's pretty much like, I would say 10 things that people do here that they don't do back home, you know? They'll turn in different areas, or they'll just jump on the sidewalk, or they'll come from different directions that you're not used to. And actually I didn't say this, but the first month, you good? Yeah. The first month I was here, I actually rode on the back of motorbikes, like the Grab. The Grab taxis, they're called. They're just like a motorbike taxi. And I took it for the first month, and I really kind of watched how traffic worked and, you know, witnessed everything, because, you know, I learned a lot, honestly. I learned a lot from the drivers here. A lot of older drivers too that were the taxi drivers, so they were pretty crazy sometimes and like fearless basically. But I learned a lot from them, and I really kind of understood the flow of traffic, and it helped me when I started driving, because honestly after the first month I really did not want to drive. I really did not. And but I decided to, and because it's really easy here too with the Grab. It's so easy, convenient. I mean, the guy right there, actually, I think that's a Grab driver right there. They're everywhere, especially in the center. I mean, they'll be at times where you call it. Let's say you're walking out of a restaurant, and it'll be there in the same amount of time as if you were getting on your own motorbike. I mean, really, it's pretty amazing how fast, efficient, and affordable the transportation is here. It really changed the game. It really did. I mean, it can get expensive when you're going far, but even then, I mean, we're talking like you can go across the city for like $4 on a Grab scooter. You know what I mean? I mean, across the city, like 5 to 10 miles, $4 to $6 on a Grab motorbike. So probably kind of dumb. There's always a lot of cops there. So here's another big roundabout, and this is really sketchy. Sometimes I'm actually holding this camera. I'm only driving with one hand. Actually, that was very easy. There's usually a lot of people shooting across. And look, they have McDonald's there. You know, there's only a few McDonald's locations here. There's actually not many, which is really nice. They always have them in the primo locations. I mean, they're always in the major roundabout areas in the city. And of course, right, it's McDonald's. They know how to do it. Ciao. This is what I mean. You can get it roadside, straight, fresh, right on the side of the road. Dang, look at that thing. Boom. They always hit it right on the money too. Right on the money. And look at, he's getting in there, dumping out all the juice. I don't know how much this one will be, but oh no, he just dumped something. Hopefully that wasn't water. So that was one coconut, and that sucker was 12K. Crazy, right? And actually, that's like, the lady I usually go to is 20K. It's still pretty cheap. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me. It's gonna be pretty loud here, but this is the Saigon Bridge I go over all the time. And right here is Landmark 81. The famous Landmark 81. Supposedly the tallest building in Southeast Asia. Here it is, the Saigon Bridge. So this is going to conclude this moto vlog here. I kind of wanted to try this. Hopefully it's not too windy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.